Hi and welcome to the weekly sim racing news, where we take a look at everything that's been happening over the course of the last week in sim racing. And remember, if you don't want to miss a video, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified when new content gets uploaded. Right, let's kick things off, and we have a small hotfix for RaceRoom. This is all about the Formula RaceRoom X22, which is their interpretation of the current 2022 specification Formula One cars. So it's just tweaking bits and pieces around that. No big surprise there. Moving on from a RaceRoom, following Automobilista 2's big version 1.4 update, we've now got, I think it's the third little patch that's come out to tweak bits and pieces on this. So nothing that's world changing in this, just tidying things up, a little bit of physics, reworking around the full course yellows to make sure the AI is behaving within all of that, and some audio track and vehicle tweaks. As always, all of the patch notes are linked down in the description below, so if you want to, you can go and take a look at what's going on down there and get into the real nitty-gritty behind all of the patch notes. Moving on from Automobilista 2, we've got a title that I'm certainly looking forward to, and that is WRC Generations, the last Kiloton WRC before they hand the baton over to Codemasters. And Team VVV have had a behind-the-scenes look at some of the locations that are going to be included in this kind of big blowout of the WR series from the developer. And good news for myself anyway, and maybe you, but two of the locations which aren't on this year's WRC calendar but are going to be included in Generations are Rally GB, which I assume is going to reuse some of the old Rally Wales stages that they've had in previous titles. They might get a polish up, but the big one for me, because I absolutely love this location, is Germany. So Rally Deutschland is in, and I absolutely love that because, quite frankly, I love hammering through the vineyard stages in it, much more than the Panzerplatz stages, actually. They're fun, but the vineyard section's really tight and narrow and twisty. Absolutely love those. We've then got some news from Wreckfest, and this is sad in one way because it's kind of end-of-lifing Wreckfest by the looks of it. So what they're doing is they're reincorporating on a rolling basis all of the tournaments into Wreckfest. The main difference is you used to have to beat leaderboard and position yourself at a certain point on a leaderboard to win points in the tournaments. They're changing that now for solo challenges, to basically allow you a better chance to go in, win events, and spend the rewards within the tournament shop. They're still going to be rotated, some on a daily basis, some less frequently, but they're putting, by the looks of it, all of that in there in what they're calling solo tournaments, and this does kind of strike me as a little bit of a wind down of Wreckfest. And it'll be interesting to see what we get coming up next, whether we're going to get a Wreckfest 2 or this is it. Hopefully they are not going to rest on their laurels and we're going to see something else from this team, because I absolutely loved Wreckfest. It's an absolutely brilliant title. Still play it on an occasional basis now. And then the final bit of news, because it's been a fairly quiet week this week, is all around F1 22. So ahead of this week's Italian GP, there is a special edition Ferrari livery hitting the game. Giallo Modena, I think it's pronounced. My apologies to any Italian or Italian-speaking listeners out there if I've just murdered that. And also, the Shanghai International Circuit is back in the series, and there is a weekly event coinciding with that to mark the Chinese Moon Festival. So basically, it's a special edition livery and a new track hitting F1 22, which is great news. I just wish F1 22 didn't play a lot like F1 2020 with less cars in it. I can't help it. It doesn't rock my boat, unfortunately. And as I say, that is an end to this week's news. So, what have I been dawdling around while you've been listening to this? Well, first of all, the track is actually one that I featured before, and that's Anglesey. But Tyrone, aka New Drop, has basically reworked this and re-released it as a new circuit. So this is version 2.0. It does install as a completely new circuit, so if you've got the original, that is still in there. Features 4 layouts, so international stretching at 3.3 kilometres, then you've got coastal, national and club going down to the shortest one at 1.3 kilometres. It's a really, really nicely put together track. It looks extremely good. It's a great venue and some really nice corners in it, and it overlooks the sea, which is really nice. So up to 38 pit boxes, so it's a fairly big one. It's just a great fun track, and with this one being relaunched, as I say, as its V2, I just couldn't help but include it in this week's mods because it was great fun. And then the car is one from Legion, and this is a Porsche 93580. So this is one that's been on his roster for a little while, I think, but it's been reworked to fix a few bits and pieces and add some LODs on it. And it's just an absurdly fun car, in all honesty. It really is. It's Group 5, so it's absolutely mad. Big turbos, lots of horsepower, colossal lag when the turbo comes on boost, particularly in lower gears. You've got to really hang on, so first to second is a bit of short shifting, and you really do have to, depending on where you position on the road, modulate your throttle even when you change up. Wheel spin in the third gear is more than possible, and around Anglesey on standard stock gearing, you're not going to be getting above third gear. It's absolutely mad, but it is a really good example of something I read in Evo magazine many years ago, which is true. And Assetto Corsa for me, this is a bit of a memory lane trip, boys and girls. Assetto Corsa for me, when I first played it on console many years ago, was the first title that really was true to this adage. And that is, when you drive a road car on a circuit, you drive to the limits of the car. When you drive a race car on a circuit, you drive to the limits of the track. The track's what limits you, not the car. And that's absolutely true with this thing. In all honesty, the 93580 needs a bigger track with longer straights to really stretch its legs. That's what it was designed for. So you take it somewhere small like Anglesey, you've really got to rein yourself in to get the most out of it. And that for me is an enjoyable challenge. I really like that. And it's one of the reasons why it reminded me, of, despite its age, Assetto Corsa is actually still a pretty solid sim. So there we go, that's your mods for this week. If you haven't got them, links down below, download them, give them a go, let me know what you think about them in the comments section. And if you have enjoyed this video and you want me to keep making content like this, please do hit the like button so I know what you like and what you don't like. Okay, thanks very much, take care everyone, bye.